G'day and welcome back to the Built for Adventure podcast, where Chris and Rick sit down, answer the questions that come up in our Built for Adventure program, where busy dads are finding time to get adventurous, be the men they want to be, and build their perfect average day. If you want to learn how to be a part of Built for Adventure, drop us a comment, reach out to us on our socials, send us an email, and we'll hook you up with an invite to come check it out and be a part of the tribe. Now, let's get into the episode. Welcome back for another episode of Built for Adventure. Funny enough, I was just talking about it. This is episode 2, where we're kind of doing like Q&As, what we're getting asked, and what I'm seeing too, what I see people say a lot in different areas. But how are you, Rick? How are you going?
Oh, I'm doing very well. I'm grateful to be here and ask you some questions.
Thanks, man. It was cool. Last week was fun. So this one will be good too, I reckon. I'll try and keep them short. The answers as short as I can.
Well, we kind of have a long intro here. If you don't mind, I can read it. So
yeah,
we have a question here. So guy started working out, eating healthy, cut out alcohol, but he feels more tired. He's asking what's wrong. He's always been active. Spent the last year backpacking and partying, which left him feeling unhealthy and sluggish. Now he's gone back to the gym, started lifting weights, doing cardio, eating clean, and cut out alcohol. So he's on week 4 and often wake up feeling really tired, almost like he's hungover, and he's moody and irritated. So what would you say to him, Chris?
It's a loaded question. And it's one of those things like, this is good. So in the sense of these questions, these would be like a one-off consult where we can sit down, chat and really unpack it, which I've opened up now. You can get a one-off consult. It's basically buy me a coffee. You just do that and we can have a chat and we can figure stuff out. So that's on my profile and I'll share it in the show notes later. But with this guy, let's get into it. So 4 weeks, he dropped alcohol, eating well, started training again. And it's coming off like, this would be interesting. It's coming off a massive high of backpacking and traveling a lot too. So what I would say is, like a lot of people would say, is like it could be how much like calorie deficit you're in, which is true. It could be that you're not eating enough food for the amount of work you're doing now. You took alcohol out as well. Your body's probably still trying to regulate back to whatever baseline is for it, whether it's trying to basically feel what normal is. And it might sound really weird, but when I did it and got rid of alcohol, I thought I was broken. I've broken myself. But what I thought was normal was this really ridiculous alcoholic high. Like my normal, I thought was way up here. But when I took it out and started working on myself and stuff like that, I sort of sat lower. I wasn't like really flighty energy. But I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed. I just never want to leave the home. There was moments like that. But it's this baseline that I kind of think of. And this is what I think expectations trip people up. If you do this for 4 weeks, how long have you been doing the other stuff for? If it's been like 30 years, 4 weeks isn't probably a long enough time to sort of gauge if this thing's working or not. So the best thing we can do, because if you might not feel like it's working, is like check in with your expectations. What did you have unrealistic expectations of what would happen? The changes you made, the stuff you're starting to do, it's all really good. So the one thing I would do is be like proof that you're doing all of this really cool stuff and change the story so you can feel good about what you're doing already. Whether like, yes, you still feel tired. This is a big thing with the parents. Like you are going to feel tired. You're a parent. You're juggling a lot of stuff. That's normal. That's not abnormal to feel tired. That's normal. There's ones that you see that are like really flighty energy and like, I love life. I'm going to go hug trees and like parenting is amazing. That's probably less normal. Like you don't have to be like that. If you are, it's fantastic, but feel good at whatever it is you've got. Like whatever it is that the world has given you in the moment, try and feel good in that moment, which is where we talk about the rewriting the story. It's like, what's the story? This guy's story. I feel tired. I've done all this stuff for 4 weeks. What's wrong with me? Or what's wrong? It's like underneath that, what's the truth? I've shown up for 4 weeks. I've done this. What's the proof? And then rewrite the story. I've actually done a lot of really good stuff. I feel proud of the things I've done and the things I've made, the progress I've made in 4 weeks. Even though you're tired, you're going to start feeling good about the things you've done. And that'd be the more important thing. Feeling good about what you're doing rather than chasing this high energy thing, which is so out of our control. There's things we can do to help it come in, but it's so hard to chase that, whatever that expectation of feeling like off your head amazing. You just feel good with whatever it's kind of showed up in your life. I don't know if that answers the question, but yeah.
Yeah. I think you also mentioned about bringing the line
Yes.
closer, right?
Yeah. So the concept of anti-fragility, where you got like, the way I like to look at it is like, there's you in the middle. There's this baseline through the middle. And when you have down days, you fall below the baseline and just feel like poo. Anti-fragility is like how fast you can bounce back to baseline. Or like bringing the lows closer. So the lows aren't really as low. And the same going the other way. So a lot of people think like go on the positive way, like feeling really good. I feel high as a kite. Like, oh, this is great. You don't want to keep going up because you're just chasing dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you chase. And yeah, you just want to constantly keep feeling high, which is what I fell into. You go high, but you want to be able to bounce back to baseline, to anti-fragility. Whether you go super high, super low, you can bounce back and get back to your baseline, which is like this idea of calmness. And which for me is feeling good. I'm showing up, collecting proofs that I want to be the person that I am. And you just keep doing that every day and it brings you back to baseline. If you fall out of it, you know quickly how to get back. And that's what we want to, that's probably what we try and build into the dads that we work with or the parents in general, is that concept of anti-fragility. They don't know that, but that's what we're trying to get to, is like less big swings. The swing gets smaller and you just keep working towards your goal.
Yeah. It's a good segue into what someone can experience maybe the first 4 weeks of the Built for Adventure cohort and program.
Yeah. So nearly everyone who comes in, if they do the work, if you're doing the doing part, you're going to lose weight. Like that's guaranteed, like always guarantee. Every program that's going to help you lose weight, well, you'll probably lose weight if you're doing it. Because a lot of it's like water movement, like water leaving your body. It releases it because you're eating less carbs or eating less salt, whatever it is. You probably could lose, like I've had people lose 4 kilos in a week just from like a massive water flush. So it brings on a massive high. And because you're doing something new, your motivation's high because you signed up, you're ready to go. Everything's like, yes, this is amazing. And it kind of rolls like that for 2 weeks. And then week 3 is what we call habit hangover. Yeah. And this hits everyone, where all the other responsibilities that you pushed away, which is natural, this happens to everybody. You push things away to make this new stuff fit in. But then that stuff comes screaming back, asking for attention. And that's when the juggle starts happening. It's like things are neglected. Like it could be weird things like you used to do more weeding in the garden, but then you started doing this health and fitness thing and then you started training instead or going for walks. But then your garden's now got weeds growing out everywhere and you're like, I'm not going to go do that. But then you're missing out on your walk. It's like this confrontation in your head of like, what am I doing? What am I going to do? So habit hangover is completely normal. It's usually like week 3, week 7-ish, week 12, where people fall off the wagon. So I like to tell people that expectation early. Like you're going to start hot. You're going to start really well. Week 3, it's going to come crashing back down hard. You'll be able to get through it. And this is where the mini pro elite versions of things work. It's like when habit hangover kicks in, stick to your minis. Go do all that other stuff that needs attention. That's come crashing back. But stick to your minis so you keep like gaining momentum to where you want to go. And then when the space opens up again, you can do more. So having that rigid flexibility approach to allow them to keep progressing forward. So yeah, usually everyone starts red hot and gets lots of results really early. And then stuff just comes up that slows them down or tries to derail them. And usually it's the stories in our head.
Stories. Yep.
And then during those times when your stories start derailing you, collecting proof that you can show up when it's really, really tough is what gets people through. And that's the key, I think.
Beautiful. I know before we started, we were talking about a conversation you had with a friend. You were surprised about what adventure really is. Want to talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll catch up for coffee and I was just asking him what's up with him, what he wants to do and stuff like that. And he talked about what we're doing with prevention. He goes, I don't think I'm for you guys. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, you guys are just too extreme. And that's probably on me sharing my story and what I do. And then I just sort of explained like, adventure's kind of like whatever it is for anyone. So the guy that just come in, his adventure is going back to walking his dogs every day.
Mhm.
And then getting that back to a walk run eventually. Like every other day he'll do a walk run and then the opposite days he'll do just a walk. And he's going to do like every time he goes past the playground, he'll do some little strength movements there. And that's his thing. That's going to be his adventure. And I was like, did you want to get back to do it? Because he's done a half marathon before. Did you want to do that? And he goes, maybe. I just want to get back to this and feeling good again. So his adventure is to find what feels good to him. And once he does that, it open up space for other stuff. And then for the guy I was talking to, his adventure ended up being like, he just wants to start doing stuff with his partner, like going for swims in the morning when she goes for swims and they're going down to Hobart and going on a 3 week adventure. He just wants to be able to do the hikes without thinking about it. Like just go do them. That's kind of adventure. Like adventure is very different for everybody. And you and I talk about it all the time. Really, the main adventure is parenting. So we give you the tools and all that kind of stuff to allow you to show up as a parent in the way you want to. And then whatever you want to do with it, like the Stu, the train driver, funny on the Stu one, I got trolled on that guy as well. I put a post out about the results he got and he's like, whatever. But yeah, Stu doesn't do any exercise in the term of what we think exercise is. He walks to the train and walks home. Drives train order. And that's what he wants to do. That's his thing. And he goes, his adventure is doing that and trying to figure out how to get lean at the same time. That's what we're doing. So yeah, adventure can be whatever you want it to be. The idea is just that you could change out adventure for excitement. We just chose adventure because that feels the most amount of excitement. It gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah. I know you mentioned the importance of feeling good. You want to talk more about why you chose that? What is about feeling good that's so important to adults for adventure?
It sounds weird, doesn't it? When people will push back, like, wouldn't you just want to feel good? And some people like would just push back.
Mm-hmm.
But
you want it hard, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes it's like a punishment thing. I know it's smashed myself. It's punishment because I had a big weekend on the booze or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you feel like, I think the concept, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. So feeling just whatever's happening in your life, like shit's going to happen anyway. We're juggling parent lives. Stuff's going to happen. You might lose a job. You got to move house. But I was a surprise baby or like anything could happen. Surprise baby, surprise pregnancy. The baby wouldn't be a surprise by then. So the stuff that will always come up, which will knock you out of alignment. And like we said before, like the energy thing, like you're not always going to feel really high. And some days you're going to feel really low. But whatever the circumstance that comes up, our only job is to feel good in that circumstance so we can navigate the day, that situation, that life with best tools that we have. So changing the story and realigning it to a story that makes sense and is useful. Because shit things happen and they're always going to happen. I'm not saying that they're not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that you're going to turn like crash in your car into some like utopia. That's not really what I'm saying. But changing the story so you have a better outcome. Tell a bit better story so you feel as good as you can in that moment. So it doesn't derail you from other things and doesn't let you spiral. That's what we're really trying to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Stop a spiraling effect. And when you change your story and it makes you feel good, your physiology changes. So you do more things that make you feel good.
Yeah. It's like a virtuous cycle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And like, it's cool seeing it in real time with these intentions and wins. The intentions and wins I'm doing with all the one-on-one guys at the moment, where I send my intentions to you, they send their intentions to me, and we send their wins and they send their wins, like backwards and forwards every day. We do it 7 days a week. And just see the mood of everyone just gradually increase over time. The conversations are different. It's super cool. They didn't realize it's happening, but it's just that stuff, just collecting wins, setting intentions, showing up as the person you want to be, makes you feel good. Even when shit things happen, you're still showing up as the person you want to be. And then I think we all want to feel good. We chase quick fixes to feel good on the fly.
Yep.
Doing the simple stuff consistently over time and collecting proof that you're doing it makes you feel good. You sort of just don't know. It's weird. It's like, it's not magic, but you feel like you're doing these really simple things, but then you just, all of a sudden, you're just like, I just feel really good at the moment. Things just annoy you less. Just kind
True. Very true. There was an interesting thing that's going on currently as you're seeing what lands with people. I think you mentioned you've been getting a lot of comments and feedback from moms.
Yeah.
It's not our target audience, but any ideas of why?
I think the concepts of Built for Adventure and like the rules, like we call the rules, which is the codes and stuff we're creating for them, which is basically like core values, really. People are just aligning to and want to align to it because it makes sense, which excites me because it was very cool. Like I did a post yesterday asking basically like kind of like market research, like what are you struggling with, and I didn't call out dads or anything, but I was like freebie for anyone who comments, and I can share it in the post if anyone wants to go there. Everyone gets a video feedback from me with a tool. And then, it was the one on my personal feed was all mums. And there were past clients and people I know and stuff like that, but it was still, it was all mums and really good comments as well. And I think that's that whole idea of like adventure. People want that freedom. People want to feel free to do the things they want to be able to do, whether it's physical movement, they want to have the movement freedom or capacity to do everything they want to do, or even like to a degree, food freedom.
It's good.
Free to eat the things they enjoy, but not in a way where it completely derails them, where they can do that stuff. And then probably the biggest one that we all want as parents is mental freedom, like reduction of anxiety and depression and just feeling good again. And all those things is like the message we're trying to put out. That's kind of what we're trying to align with. And it was very cool that because we haven't got an actual group for ladies yet, but we were just talking about before, we were thinking about doing it because we're getting a lot of feedback from it. So, and it makes sense. It's just full disclosure in a marketing sense, it's easier to pick a sex, market to a sex, male or female, because you can talk about it through those lenses.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, when I had my gyms, I would say it was 80-90% women that I coached. And funny story, when I started Busy Dad Squad back in the day, and the gym shut. And I was going online and looking for people with meta tests. I built all the curriculum for dads because I was going to go with dads. I had 28 mums sign up first. So I had to go through and adjust it all for mums because like mums are like guys literally it's like do these things and show up. Very simple. For women, there's a lot of like nuances around hormones, contraceptions, menopause. It's just tweaking things to suit the person. So it's actually very enjoyable coaching women because I know it's not enjoyable for them because they got so much stuff they got to juggle. But for me to help them, it's like those puzzle pieces and how they fit is kind of enjoyable. But yeah, it's to answer the question, I think people, want adventure and freedom out of the maybe out of the mundane, the day to day stuff that they do where it doesn't excite them. Maybe they want to feel excitement in their day to day, which is cool.
Yeah, along those lines, Chris, like, um, I've been told, and we can find basically all the exercises, the things to do on the internet, YouTube, Google search. But what do you think makes Built for Adventure different in the packaging? Like, if people can find what we do on the internet for free, like why would somebody want to sign up and join the cohort, follow us, follow you? Any
Mm.
thoughts on that?
I think one saves time. That's the biggest one because time's a big obstacle that they have to go find themselves.
Hmm.
And two, we're very family orientated. So everything we do has to either improve or include the family dynamic. Sometimes that is really hard. Instead of like trying to think it's either fitness or family with like integration. Because I was actually talking to a dad that I coached back in the day. And this is back in like 2010. And I got him into training. He's down in Little Athletics and Kat was down at the finish line with him. And he told Kat that if it wasn't for me, his daughter wouldn't be out here doing athletics. She's now 16 and running in state and stuff like that because he used to train after like he'd left the gym and stuff. He kept training and motivated his daughter to like, I want to learn a deadlift. I want to sprint. I want to do all this stuff. So like she's super into training. So it was like role modeling and he still does stuff to this day. He had a heart attack last year and had to take a week off and they couldn't figure out why. Like they still haven't figured out why, but he's now back and even past where he was before. So that family thing, like show, don't tell. Like we know we need our kids to be active, especially with on social media and laptops in schools and stuff like that. So there's technology's going to, for young brains, super attractive. So show, don't tell is going to be huge. The more we do stuff without forcing them, but they just want to come to it, will be pretty massive in the future. And then I think the main thing is like, we help people do shit they enjoy doing and to get results with it. Instead of us saying like, hey, you got to do this. Like, say if like I just planted my training on people the way I train, some people would love it. Like there's a guy, Greg, who's in Built for Adventure, who's like, he comes and does the workouts with me in the garage on the weekends. So he loves it. But there'll be tons of people who don't. So it's more like, which is that whole elf versus half. It's easy, lucrative, and fun to show up for. And we'll show you how to get results of that. That's what we're about. Like, what is it that you're going to show up for the rest of your life that you really enjoy? And yes, things will change. Like you might show up for more different stuff, but what is it that's going to make it really easy and take no willpower or motivation to do? Cool. Let's show you how to get results of that. And just removes that barrier for people who think they have to throw everything out to build this whole new lifestyle. It's like, nah, do what you're already doing. Play around with stuff that you want to play around with. Let's figure it out. And that's what we do, which is the fun part.
Yeah. That reminds me of the old way that you should do things. You had a set way. You wanted your clients to do things your way, kind of like that. You want to talk about how you did things in the past versus how you do things now?
Yeah, like, especially nutritionally, I was like, when I was doing the book called Carb Backloading and the sister book was Carb Night. It's just carb cycling. When I was doing that, I got results with it. Everyone had to do it. And I was coaching parents and stuff. I was like, oh, I can't really do it. This is before I had kids. I can't really do it because I've got this, the kids eat this, it's in the cupboard. I'm like, throw it out. You don't need that stuff in there. You're poisoning your kids anyway. That kind of douchey trainer. I didn't say it like that, but they were the suggestions I would make. And people would get results with it, but they would never stick to it. I'm like, oh, okay. And same with me. I fell off that wagon. And then I went on the paleo wagon. I was like, no, everyone's got to go paleo. Paleo. And then carnivore. And then so many diets. Atkins, which is basically carnivore. The primal diet. They all, especially diet-wise, they all got pushed on them. And training-wise, there was things like squats. Like everyone's got a squat. Deadlifts. Everyone's got a deadlift. I got a sore shoulder. Deadlift. I got a sore toe. Deadlift will fix that. I used to think that stuff all the time. And then I think it's like, as you mature as a coach, you see gaps and you keep learning and stuff like that. And then my thing was always like how to get people to want to do stuff. And it's like, you always have to meet someone where they are and then let them do the thing they're already doing and show them how to get results with that. And then they will naturally change as they want to.
Yeah.
It always has to be their idea for it to stick anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to get people to do some dumb shit because I was doing it. And I've gone back and apologized to people for it. I was like, well, especially when I become a parent, I'm so sorry that I didn't accept your excuses of parenthood for reasons that you couldn't do stuff. I can totally agree with that now.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
I know you referenced Joe Polish's Elf and Half. So,
yeah.
What key principles form the foundations built for adventure?
Well, easy. We'll go to the first half because that's the best part. That's probably the most important part. Anything you want to change in your life needs to be flow-like. If it's getting forced, you will come up against friction eventually because force means willpower, force means effort. Eventually, you're going to come up against friction and you'll lose the energy to do the forcing. Like it will get hard to do. Some people can do it for a very long time.
Yep.
And sometimes push themselves to a big hole. Like I've done that before. Eventually, the bill comes due for most people. I always say that, and I always think of like David Goggins. He's one guy that is all force, and his bill has never come due. So I don't know. There's always outliers. But then, my philosophy is that whatever you do should never take willpower or very little or need motivation to do. Because you need willpower for parenting. And energy is motivation, motivation is energy. So the more energy you have, generally the more motivation you will foster. But it will only come sporadically and randomly. So I kind of use energy and motivation interchangeably. And we want to save energy for parenting as well. So willpower and energy, parenting, career, all that kind of stuff. And then we use Built for Adventure to increase energy. So you got more capacity for motivation and more capacity for willpower for parenting. So Alpha's half really is to get to do things that are flow like, that take no effort for you to want to do. Like it's easy to do, like Stu, the train driver, chuck a backpack on, walk to the train. He's already got a forcing function. He's getting paid to work.
Yeah.
He knows he has to get there. So it's just an easy action. Just walk to work. Daniel, who's just started with us, walking the dogs. He knows he's got to walk the dogs and he loves walking it. He just stopped doing it. But now he's got 2 dogs that he needs to walk. So his forcing function is like, if I don't get them out, they're just nuts. So you've got a forcing function. So it's fun. He gets to go and listen to a podcast or whatever when he's walking and just enjoy it. So it's always the easy part's huge because that's the flow thing. What is it you enjoy doing? Just do that. Lucrative, it has to work. That's the other thing. And it has to work. And that's the job of what we do as the coaches. Let's take your thing that you really enjoy that is actually going to get you to your goal. That's the main thing. It's like, if you really enjoy sitting down watching movies all day, it might not get you to your goal. But technically, it's like we can make nearly everything work. It's just tweaking things here and there about what you're already doing to give the result from it. And the last part is fun. Has to be fun because you want to do it for the rest of your life. If you're doing shit you don't enjoy, it's not going to stick. So we bring it back to the Nick Peterson book, the Bumpers book. Don't jump in a race that you don't want to finish. Just really ask yourself that question. Can you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life? If not, probably don't do that thing right now. Do the thing that you will do for the rest of your life and figure out how to get results with that. And that's what we do. That's the philosophy, is like, do the shit you enjoy. Yes, training can be part of it, 100%. Running, yes. Paddleboarding, skiing, swimming, biking, rock climbing, doesn't really matter. Just walking. Do the thing that you enjoy movement-wise. We match nutrition to your movement, and we figure out how to show up and do that every day and feel good about it.
Yeah,
I don't know if that answers the question or not.
Oh, that's great. That's beautiful. And maybe if you want to close out, we just kind of give people a little teaser about what Be the Man is about.
Yeah. So we want to get this cranking, which would be cool. We've been talking about it for a while. We want to have a weekly Zoom where it's invite only. You get invited by us because we've talked, or you get invited by other people who are on it. It's a group. It's a call for men to come on, and we will teach concepts of stuff on feeling good and getting back in alignment with what feels good. But then also, which is probably the most exciting part, is like the Q&A stuff at the end. People can come on, unpack things, share what's going on, share what they've learnt. This is the big thing. It's like give and ask. Give advice and feedback on stuff you've used and learnt from. You can give advice to other people. And then ask. You've tried something, it didn't really work. Ask questions and we can sort of help. But I think, yeah, just a group of, I always say a group of dudes, a group of dad dudes. It doesn't have to be dads either, just men who want to be the man for themselves, for their kids, for their relationships, and for their tribe, and figuring out what that actually means and how to do it, which it's all the tools that you and I both use and have learned and teach to just feel good and get as close to alignment to that feel good moments as often as possible. What's exciting about you for being a man? That'd be a good question.
Yeah, for me, it's just those conversations. I think our hearts are for fathers, for parents. And we were just talking about someone that is going through a massive change in his life, married, in a difficult situation. And I think for us, you don't have to do it alone. I did it alone. I did not do it very well. And I think if I had more support, different kinds of conversations, different kind of stories, maybe the outcome would have been different. And I think we just want to be there to have those difficult conversations. Show up for that. And let's see how you show up in those conversations as well. So I'm excited.
Yeah. I saw stats that like the ages of 40 to 50 are like the most challenging as an adult. Because like kids are at that age where they could be like pretty challenging. Your parents are at that age where they become kids again, where you almost got to look after them. It sounds terrible. That's kind of the age bracket where it happens. Like career shifts, midlife crisis kind of stuff, all that stuff happens now. Partners going into menopause. This is the one I'm seeing a lot of with guys. Like the partners are started menopause and don't know what to do and don't know how to juggle it. So that stuff will be a place we just want to create a space where people can come in and go, bleh, I'm just dumb. It sounds weird, but just get it out and then unpack it, and then tools and tips and tricks and skills to get in alignment and collect proof that you are being the man. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe if we have a little bit of time, Chris, like, because you reminded me about the shadow. I think during that maybe age range or time, like stuff starts coming up that we've been pushing down and pushing down over our lifetime, and then self sabotage comes up. And I know you had a great analogy about the shadow. You want to share that?
Yeah. So you think like the analogy I use is like, cool, you're going on an expedition. You are starting your adventure. So you're taking a boat. The goal is to go to this island where the buried treasure is. And you're boarding the boat. It's just you. And you're like, cool, we're going to set sail. Off we go. And then you hear something rustling around in the background. And you're like, what was that? And you don't think anything of it. And you're like, cool, we're making good progress. This is great. We're going fast. And then slam, something just stops the boat dead in the water. You turn around, you can't see anything, but then you notice the anchor's down. So you walk over and wind the anchor back up. It takes a bit of effort. So you're winding it up, get it up, start sailing again. The wind picks up, hits the sails, you make progress again. And slam, you stop again. You spin around, you're like, what is going on? Still can't see anything. So you walk over and start winding it up. And you hear a rustle again. And you shoot around and you see something move in the dark. And don't think too much of it. You go looking, can't see it, fine. You go again, sail again, happens again, anchor slams. And this time you see the image in the dark. You walk over with the light and it's you. It's you, your shadow self, which is it's scared shitless. This shadow version of you is so scared of you making change. It'll drop the anchor and prevent you from making any changes you can. Because something that's happened in the past, doesn't matter if it's like huge trauma or not, there's stuff that's happened that's taught behaviors that are used to protect you from something. And those behaviors that come with you. So when you go to create change, when there's uncertainty, frustration, all that kind of stuff, the shadow you jumps in and tries to help. It's protecting you. So what we do is try and shine a spotlight on that shadow version. It's kind of like wrapping your arm around it and saying, it's going to be all right. We're going to be cool. And then there's the analogy of the boat. Help it, like wrap your arm around it and let it set sail with you and come on the journey. So like, I've got this. I know how to navigate this. You can go play kind of thing. It's a very powerful tool because basically it allows you to, if you have the shadow version of you, and then we talk about the hero version, which is the person you want to be. The whole thing about what we keep saying is like collect proof. It's collecting proof that you're this version of the hero, not this shadow version of this person that you don't want to kill, but you don't need it anymore. You don't need to be that person anymore because it's time for change. And you've created a flow switch. So when those things, like we've said, like this time of our lives where stuff can get really challenging because there's so much going on. It's a massive transition. You have two ways to show up. You can show up as a shadow version and be defensive. Mine's escapism. And I will fight to escape if I need to because I just don't like a situation. That's my shadow version. And then, so his flow switch is escape. When my heroic version is stand up, rise up, be the man. That's the whole old concept of where the thing come from, is be the man. It's like, I have to stand up and do the thing. Even if it's causing frustration, if it's uncomfortable or whatever, I still got to do it. So you can create those flow switches, which is what we want to do. And it's so helpful. You start catching yourself so quick in the moments when these reaction processes come. There's an input, a stimulus, and then there's processing, and then there's your output, what it actually going to take. We're trying to fix the processing part and create a gap.
Yeah.
So your output is more in alignment with what it is that you want to show up as. And yeah, super powerful stuff. And like being part of a tribe and a crew all doing the same thing is also so powerful. I've been in one for the last 18 months, and it's probably been the most I've improved since giving up alcohol and just feeling
Wow.
good and finding what feels good. And once you feel good, it's the whole thing. Like, be the man is like, yeah, let's do the things that make us feel good and let's feel good. And then good things happen when you feel good.
Mhm.
So the whole concept of be the man is like, that's what we're shooting for. How can we show up and feel good? Yeah.
Yeah. The shadow stuff doesn't feel good, but just because it doesn't feel good doesn't make it bad. Doesn't make you
No.
bad, right? But it's just feeling, and it's just shadow. It's just part of you.
Yeah. Like it's very powerful, very emotional, but you don't have to revisit it once you've figured out the story. You only have to check in with it every now and then to say, yeah, I'm still cool. I still got this when it creeps up and wants to get out of the shadows again. So once you get that out, it makes so much more sense. Things start becoming so much clearer. And then it gives you that freedom, which is like it releases the anchor. You can start moving and you'll go as fast as you want to go.
Love it, brother. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that one.
No
Powerful.
worries. Yeah. So we got to lock in a time. We haven't really locked in a time of when we're going to do this, but what we might do is like, if you are interested in being in Be the Man, in these Be the Man calls, we're going to announce time soon, but we are looking for people who are interested. So I'll do a social post about it. If you're interested, you can come and comment on the social post. I'll link it into the replay. Comment on the reels when you listen to these reels. Comment, listen to the podcast from wherever you listen to. Message us, email us, all that good stuff. Just reach out to us and say, I want to be in this Be the Man thing. Can I get an invite? Because it is going to be invite only.
Yeah.
And we are action takers. So when you come on, you get to stay in if you click proof that you're doing the work. And then watch the change. It will be quick. Quick as it needs to be. That's the cool part.
Yeah. Your pace.
Yeah. That was
Beautiful,
cool.
brother.
Thanks everyone for listening. It was awesome. That's number 2 for Build to Adventure. And then, yeah, we'll have the links in the show notes. Be the Man. Might create actually a wait list for it. Be the Man, so people can drop their emails in it. That might be a way to go. Anything you want to sign off on? It was a good one.
No, brother. It's always good talking with you, getting an inside look at the Build for Adventure and Be the Man, and learning alongside with you, brother. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, dude. See you, everyone. See you next week.